Where, first of all, let me put everybody out of their agony by saying that, yes, Ferrari have established their supremacy for the second day running. They are first and second on the grid for tomorrow's British Grand Prix. And we have had a really stirring final 60-minute qualifying session here at Silverstone. You can see what the weather is like. It's overcast, and there is the man, not at all happy, you'd think he would be, Gerhard Berger in pole position. Over to Barry Gill.
Gerhard Berger, many congratulations on this pole position. You saw the reaction of the crowd. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel well, because pole position is always a good thing.
You have, of course, broken this incredible McLaren monopoly. How does that feel?
It feels good. I think tomorrow is another game again, but today, at least we win today, and it's better than to stay behind the McLaren.
Well, first and second, is this the start of the Ferrari revival?
Yeah, it's good, but we still have to work a lot, and I still think we can come a lot of better.
And what about your prospects for the big race tomorrow?
The more it will be a consumption race, and I think we will have troubles. I think the McLaren should be much better in consumption.
Well, you've added a few thousand to the crowd, and I know a lot of them will be supporting you. Gerhard, thanks for talking to us.
Okay, bye.
Yes, what Gerhard Berger said there was very significant. First and second on the grid, but Ferrari are worried about fuel consumption tomorrow, whereas McLaren are not nearly as worried with their Honda engines. Yesterday, in the qualifying session, it was Michele Alboreto who finished the day in pole position, and when he set out today from his pit in the Ferrari, he was determined to keep that pole position. Well, he didn't, and he had a very stirring time in between. Here he is in the pits, looking dispassionately at Eva, at his monitor, which tells him what the times were. He went out for a quick one to try and retain that pole position, and this is what happened. And just watch the way, with his absolutely superb reflexes, Michele Alboreto kept it pointing in the right direction and motored confidently onwards, back again into the pits, where, as quiet and laconic as ever, he looked again at the times. This is a replay. Watch the back of the Ferrari step out over the curb, and of course you completely lose traction there when the under tray of the car clouted the curb onto the grass, nothing to hit, kept it going, no problem. So Michele Alboreto in second position on the grid today. There's Berger talking to Marco Piccinini, one of the top men of Ferrari. And that is Ayrton Senna. Now, Senna is third on the grid after today's final qualifying, ahead of his teammate Alain Prost. Fifth and sixth, and this is an amazing situation. The two marches, the two 3.5 litre Judd engine marches of Maurizio Gugelmin, the Brazilian, and his Italian teammate Capelli. Senna too was trying very, very hard today in an effort to make it 7 pole positions this year. That was what happened at Stowe Corner fairly early on in the practicing. He spun out, well, it was about halfway through the session at 13.28. You can see how he lost it at Stowe, did a complete rotation, and like Michele Alboreto, kept it going. There he is talking to the press. But then Alboreto came back into the scene. Michele Alboreto back into pole position at about 20-2, really flying in the Ferrari. And Michele Alboreto has certainly got a new lease of life. He finished third in the French Grand Prix last weekend, of course. He is definitely leaving the Ferrari team at the end of this year, his place being taken by Nigel Mansell. And by the way, as you watch Michele Alboreto, I'll tell you that there's been some real drama with Mansell here, because overnight the Williams team literally did what they thought was impossible. They abandoned the reactive suspension, drew up a new suspension, conventional suspension at Didcot, produced the parts, rushed them to Silverstone, fitted them to the car, and Nigel Mansell is in 11th position on the grid. Now, admittedly, that is only 2 positions better than he was yesterday. That's Alain Prost, double world champion, talking to Ron Dennis, the head man of McLaren, and Prost is 4th on the grid. But Senna continued his terrific efforts. He spun, you've just seen that. He went out again in a determined effort to get the pole position from Michele Alboreto at the time, only to spin the McLaren again at exactly the same place, which he's approaching now. He's coming out of Chapel Curve, down the long Hanger Straight, the fastest part of Silverstone, where they're doing about 190 miles an hour, into Stowe Corner. Watch him lose it. Out goes the back. Another 360-degree rotation, and 304 kilometers an hour is not so very far under 200 miles an hour. This is a replay. So Alboreto lost his Ferrari, Senna lost his McLaren, then he lost his McLaren again, and here is the very happy Michele Alboreto, 2nd on the grid, waiting to talk to Barry Gill.
Michele, an all-Ferrari front row after what we've seen all season. You must be very pleased.
Yeah, I'm very happy, and yes, it was better yesterday because I was in pole, but anyway, the race is longer, and I start from the first row is a good thing.
You and Gerhard were really battling for those positions today, weren't you?
Yeah, it was a good battle, but it's better to have this battle in the front than the back, like some years ago.
You did have a little moment we saw on the television?
No, no, not really. I prefer them watching me.
Michele, does this mean that Ferrari, after all the fight this season, are now in a position really to challenge the McLarens and stop this monopoly?
No, I don't think so. Here is a very particular track for us. Our car is very good in this track, but from Hockenheim, I think the problem's coming back.
But you have a lot of fans here at Silverstone. It would obviously please you greatly to do well for them.
And that's good because maybe I will drive for an English team next year, so it's a good thing.
Do you want to tell us which English team?
I don't know yet, really.
But there is a chance that we may see you either in the Tyrrell or the Williams or a British team next year, is there?
Yes, because I have a good remember from that time, so why not?
So we'll see you back in East Horsley. A win tomorrow won't do you any harm.
Okay, thank you.
Michele, good luck. Thanks for talking to us.
Well, success takes 10 years off your life, doesn't it? Michele Alboreto, who has been looking very worried, looking very cheerful here. That's the pole position man, Gerhard Berger. Now, this is how Gerhard Berger did his fastest lap. Well, at the time it was the fastest lap. He went round in 1 minute 10.134 seconds. So here is Berger going into the right-hander at Copse. Now from Copse on to Maggots, the very fast left-hander. From Maggots into the 3rd gear, one of the slowest corners on the course, and there's hardly any of them. That's not really slow. Beckett's, from Beckett's to the left-hander at Chapel. Now the longest part of the straightest part of the circuit in front of him. He's about to pass Modena's Eurobrunn. And just watch the time and look at the way Berger was dealing with traffic on this lap. He's got in front of him now Stefan Johansson in the Ligier, who I am sorry to say has again failed to qualify. The non-qualifiers are Larrauri, Ginzani, Johansson and Schneider, so both the Zaxpeeds out. There is Berger passing Stefan Johansson. Julian Bailey has qualified, 24th. Jonathan Palmer has qualified 17th. Look at the time. That's Stefan Johansson crossing the line at 1 minute 10.2. Gerhard Berger stops the clocks and he is in pole position, walking back there, receiving the applause of the press and the officials, giving autographs as usual. But Gerhard Berger, who was in pole position in Japan, who was in pole position in Australia, who went on to win both of those races, is in pole position here at Silverstone for tomorrow's British Grand Prix. And here is the grid order. In pole position, Gerhard Berger. Then Michele Alboreto, also in a Ferrari. Ayrton Senna, 3rd on the grid. His teammate Prost is 4th. So it's 2 Ferraris and then 2 McLarens. Then the 2 Marches, 3.5 litre normally aspirated cars of Gugelmin and Capelli, followed by Piquet, 7th on the grid. Nannini is 8th. Derek Warwick is 9th, Nakajima is 10th. Nigel Mansell in the conventional suspension. Williams is in 12th position, in 11th position. Boutsen is 12th. Jonathan Palmer is 17th. Julian Bailey is 24th. And at 2:15 tomorrow, you will be able to see a British Grand Prix at Silverstone tomorrow, which may well break the McLaren mould. Don't miss it.